ApplePay is right on target. Will climate change not mean more sales for Apple? Fat is where it's at least for MacBook Pro cables. The iPhone SE rises from the Apple graves of discontinued products. All tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast. Yeah! So I probably should have mentioned this is Mac to the Future Go, episode 86. No, I am not fat. I don't know why I didn't say that in the very beginning. Hello, everyone. My name is Guy Serle, as you can see right there. Or it's right there. Right there. That's my lower third. And joining me tonight is Mr. Warren Sklar. How are you today, Mr. Warren Sklar?
I am here. How are you?
I'm doing my best to stay out of trouble. How am I doing so far?
Not so good.
Not so good? Yeah, well, we're actually starting kind of on time today, David.
Yes, we are. Hey, Dave Ginsburg, how you doing?
Yeah. I got your lower graph. It's like you do this 86 times, you kind of get the hang of it. No, you really don't. I don't know even know why I said that. So here's all three of us. Sorry?
I said I'm very tired.
You're very well. You just said you were outside shoveling snow.
Yes, I was.
Do they get
my driveway?
Do they get snow in Chicago? Is that a place where there's a lot of snow? A little bit.
A little bit. A lot.
I don't know if I told you my mother grew up in that area.
Yep.
In Harvard, Illinois.
The train that's right by Macstock.
Yeah, I was talking to my oldest brother on my mother's side, and there's a whole story behind that. But he was telling me that now my mother never really talked about her father, but apparently he was, and I don't understand this. He was in the Norwegian gang during Prohibition. Apparently Norway had like their own gang. But it was the Midwest, so there's lots of Norwegians there in the Midwest. I really don't even know why I'm talking about this.
Oh, let's talk about some Apple stuff.
Okay.
Well, we could talk about Norwegian gangs, but
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared. I don't have my notes for that.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my iPad and take some notes here.
Okay. Yeah.
Chicago.
Chicago. His official job, he drove a bread truck, and apparently that truck was used for many things beyond just delivering bread. But we're going to get off of that subject, and we're going to talk about something else. The first thing we're going to talk about
seems like a good idea.
Yes, is that Apple Pay picks up steam, but not the game. If this is a story, and if I was as smart as I said I was, I would already have that up. This is a story from Business Insider. Apple Pay, a significant part of Apple's strategy services, have picked up many significant retailers and restaurants, including Taco Bell, the gas convenience chain Speedway, and Target. Apple Pay is now available to 74 of the top 100 U.S. merchants and 65% of all retail locations in the U.S. Many retailers have tried to avoid using Apple Pay to push out their own mobile payment solutions, but apparently that hasn't worked out very well. Other retailers that Apple Pay brought to the stores last year include Costco, CVS Pharmacy, and Southland Corporation's 7-Eleven stores. So now, I don't think we were doing this live cast when it was a thing, but there was another mobile payment service that a lot of retailers wanted to use because they didn't. Currency, thank you. That's what it was.
Walmart.
And it bombed.
CVS.
Yeah.
CVS and Walmart. Yeah.
It cracked me up when CVS all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're now going to be accepting Apple Pay. I said,
Yeah.
CVS has been really
And they
crazy.
were well,
That's where
CVS was one of the initial partners in Current C, and they actually had, as I recall, they actually had a clause in the partnership agreement in Current C that you couldn't use any other mobile payment solutions.
No. So CVS is because that's where I go for my drugs.
Yeah.
For my drugs.
Yeah,
man.
Dave's
so
not here. No, Dave's over here.
Dave's not
Dave's
here.
over there, man. So they started with the currency, and I signed up for it, and like I don't even think it was ever usable. Like it was terrible.
It was always in
But
beta.
they stopped doing. Well, it was. I don't even remember, but it was bad. Then they stopped using it, and then instead of Apple Pay, they went to their CVS app thing, which was they have a CVS app. You could show your CVS extra care card. It holds your credit card in there. When you go to pick up prescriptions, you say, I'm going to pick up prescriptions, and then you show them a barcode and things happen. It was awful. It was slow. It barely worked. And if there's no good service in your CVS, you're done. Yep, the CVS app. So they were doing that for a while. So now they're finally gone to Apple Pay. Mine's doing that too. So you could still do a conjunction. I mean, the CVS app isn't terrible for the other things it does. You can refill your prescriptions. You can see your discounts. You could get coupons. You could do a whole bunch of things in there. And it's great for your prescriptions because you go up there instead of trying to tell them things, you just show them the barcode. But after that, you can just use your phone to pay with the Apple Pay, which is great too, because again, the place where I go, they're too cheap for Wi-Fi and they don't have good cell service. So it was just a bad experience all around. But it works now. They'll email you your receipt when you leave, so it's funny because I'll do it, and then as soon as I leave the store, I'll hear a ding, and I'll know, I got service now. So my receipt comes.
Well, do you need to have? I guess you would need to have service back to a provider in order to use Apple Pay. It won't work in standalone mode.
It will. Apple Pay works without service.
Without a connection, really? So it just saves it in like a message until you have service?
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
No, neither did I.
Yeah, you don't have to have service. It will ding and it will work. And then as soon as you get service, it'll go through.
Okay, we have some people in the chat room. I want to say hi to Leslie and Frank. Thanks for being here, guys. We really, really do appreciate it. Yes, feel free to make comments. Remember that what you're actually seeing here on the screen is about 10 seconds behind as far as live action goes. So bear that in mind.
It's like the past, man. It's in the past.
Dave, are you a big Apple Pay proponent?
I am for sure.
Whoops.
I was very. Uh-oh.
No, keep going.
All right.
There we go.
Hey. Yes, I've been a big proponent of Apple Pay. You know, when we talk about CVS, well, Walgreens, which of course is based here in Chicago, is one of the biggest drugstore chains in the country, if not the world. Here, and were the first to have of those drugstores to have Apple Pay, which was great, and it worked great. And I like doing it with my Apple Watch. I mean, you know, anytime I can use my Apple Watch to pay for something is awesome. Just had my haircut.
Watch.
I go to Sports Clips. Had my haircut last weekend, and Apple Pay. Got to use it. They have one of the standard terminals. I mean, just like any of the other places that use it. So, it was very big proponent. And one thing I'll mention about Target, and I read that article as well as the one that was in Mac Rumors earlier today. One thing you aren't going to be able to put in your Apple Pay is the actual Target Red card, which is their card that gives you the 5% off every purchase that you make. Because of the discount, they won't add it to Apple Pay, unfortunately. But no biggie. You can carry that card with you if you want to. But no, to add Target and then now 74% of the retailers out there are now accepting that Apple Pay is awesome. I mean, just you go to McDonald's, you go to Taco Bell, you go to any fast food places. I mean,
it's bad with the fast food. It's like
it really is.
I used to pay cash.
It's like
it's like well, then
like
my
crack.
wife, because my wife sees the bills and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well,
I mean,
I'm doing what I always done. Now you just see it."
I used cash before. Sorry, honey.
Then you add the fast food restaurants with their apps, and then they have discounts, and then you have to pull up their app to get the code, to scan it to get the discount, and then
and it's a pain in the ass.
Apple Pay. Yeah. So,
but I mean, but why can't
that happen?
Now, I have used Apple Pay, but I don't. I'm not hugely knowledgeable about it. Does that work in conjunction with Wallet, the app Wallet?
Yes.
So that's why you can't have the Target card in your Wallet application.
You have to actually, the card has to be a bank that's approved, that gets registered in Apple Pay. Apple Pay then in turn puts it into the wallet. I mean, the wallet contains other things besides just your Apple Pay cards. I mean, you got your CVS cards going to be in there. You know, I go to AMC movie theaters. My Premier rewards card is in there, so I pull it up, go in the wallet and scan that. So I mean, Walgreens has its own card now.
Well, now, wait, you were talking about. Let me ask you something real quick. You were just talking about AMC's Premier service.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you have a credit card that's associated with that, so that you just bring up your Premier card and it pays for everything, or do you have to do that separate?
It's a loyalty card.
It's a loyalty card. Sorry. Yeah. So,
okay. Well, no, I understand that, but loyalty.
No.
There's loyalty cards and there's loyalty cards. Some loyalty cards actually incorporate a method of payment.
Right. AMC does not currently, as far as I recall, in their app. I go in their app to buy my movie tickets, but I have a credit card stored in there. So they haven't done that as of yet. But there are other retailers that have their own apps that incorporate Apple Pay right into it.
And just to clarify, you can't, with your credit cards in the wallet, you can't do anything with those. You can't pay for stuff with your credit card in the wallet without Apple Pay.
Right.
You need the Apple Pay to do that. You could see your transactions. Okay. So, when you buy something from one of your cards that are on Apple Pay, basically the wallet will show you your transactions. So, essentially, you'll go up, you'll pay for your stuff with your watch, and then a second later you'll see the transaction go through of how much you just paid on your watch or your phone, which is great. I mean, because that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But the wallet itself, the wallet app itself, really can't do much other than kind of show you what Dave was saying. Some of the loyalty cards, or like some apps. I don't know if you could see it, but Dunkin' Donuts has an app
There's
too.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Wait, hold on. One at a time, guys. Let's go to Warren first.
All right. So
it's too bright. It's all lit out.
But it's Dunkin' Donuts, and basically it's a barcode, and you go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, and they'll scan the card and it'll take money out from your account and go from there. But those aren't using Apple Pay. It's using the wallet. The wallet has a picture of a barcode code that.
It's a virtual barcode,
right?
More or less.
It's a barcode. But
your credit card is linked to the Dunkin' Donuts account.
Your credit card is linked to it. So Apple Pay is not really in the picture when I do that. So basically, it could be just a regular. I could print that out and show it to Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay. Well, in essence, what you're doing is you're using Wallet to bring up your loyalty cards to get the price down on whatever service or product you're going to buy, and then using Apple Pay to pay for it. And a lot of retailers let you do that, but Target will not.
So as I said,
Target will not do it as far as their own branded card. If you use any other credit card, yes, Target will work at the terminal. The thing with Apple Pay is all you have to do is you bring your phone up or you bring your watch up and you put it right near the terminal. It automatically senses that it's an Apple Pay device. Your card's going to come up, and whatever default credit card that you set in Apple Pay will be used as the payment. But you can scroll through and change to the different cards if you want to, whichever card you want to choose.
Yeah, but it's still being done through Apple Pay.
Correct.
So you cannot use Apple Pay in conjunction with a Target discount through their red card that you
That's
may
true.
or may not have in your wallet.
I guess when I said that, it kind of confused. Basically, Target has its own credit card. You cannot use their own credit card with Apple Pay. Period.
Right.
That's probably the easiest way to explain that.
But
Okay.
to make things more complicated for you.
Oh,
it is-
good. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we need.
So if I go to Dunkin' Donuts, just per se, and they accept Apple Pay, okay. They also have an app that I opened up the app and I put my American Express numbers into their app, which in turn put a card in my wallet on my phone. Okay, so if I go up and order a coffee and I don't show them the app, I could still use Apple Pay with my watch or my phone and just click it and ding, it will be Apple Pay. Or I could open up the app and show them the barcode from the wallet, and that's not going through Apple Pay at all. That's just basically going through their app to buy it. Now, why would I do one versus the other? So their app, these Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts entice you to do it rather than go through Apple Pay because they
give you
free
an additional.
coffee.
Yeah, they give you an additional discount or
Well, you get free
additional service.
every couple of things you get free coffee.
Okay.
So with both Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, for example, is you load up, you buy.
Oh, you're prepaying.
25. You're prepaying.
Okay, and then they're giving you a discount based on how much you prepaid because they have
Right.
your money.
They want
ahead
you
of
using
time.
the app. Now, why do they want that? Because they got your information, and B, they're bypassing Apple Pay too. Because
Well, not
Apple
only that,
Pay
but they already have. I mean, when you say you give them $20, okay, they're going to give you say $22 worth of stuff for that $20. So you're thinking, oh, okay, I've got an extra 5-10%, whatever it is. But because they already have your money, when you hit the end mark of that $22, it's in your best interest to go ahead and put another $20 on.
Yeah.
So it's they always have your money before, and however long it takes to use it, they already have it. Oh, by the way, before we go too much farther, I wanted to also say hello to Damon and Ed and Kevin. Kevin Eason, thanks, Kevin. Happy New Year to you as well. Kevin is a former schoolmate of mine from down there in old Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
All right. Well, let's
All right.
let's move on. But the
Yeah.
the only only thing
The consensus is Apple Pay good.
Apple Pay is good. Companies were holding out because Apple takes a cut.
But so do
And
credit card companies.
So
I mean,
does
that's where
Visa
credit
and
card
MasterCard.
companies make their money.
Right, but
So what's the difference between use? Because at this point, Apple, well, I guess we're not getting off this subject. At this point, Apple is more or less their own bank because they're performing a significant number of microtransactions every single day.
So let me ask you this: American Express takes a fee out of every
Yes.
transaction. Apple Pay.
Wait,
takes
no. American Express does not take a fee because you have to pay to use the American Express card for every year. So that's where
Yeah.
American Express
No,
gets their money.
not me. The stores.
No, the stores
store-
don't have to pay for American Express cards.
Oh,
They
sure.
do.
There's
indeed.
no.
There's a merchant fee.
They absolutely want. I worked for a store
100%.
that said,
did too.
"Don't take if you can help it. Don't take American Express because they charge more than Mastercard and Visa per
Really?
transaction." Absolutely, 100%.
100%.
So American Express gets a fee. Apple Pay gets a fee. Okay, so now I'm paying with Apple Pay, and two people are like, "Give me some,"
Visa
and that's why
MasterCard get a fee
this is
too.
true.
But
and this is
Visa
why-
and MasterCard and Discover and all the rest of them also have transaction fees.
of course, they do. American
So-
Express happens to be a little
The
bit higher.
merchant
than
has to pay them. We don't
Yeah,
pay
the
them.
merchant pays if I buy $100 thing at a store and use American Express, the merchant's going to pay a couple of,
Yeah,
like,
well, that's the
percentage.
same. It's the same with all the cards.
right. But now Apple Pay gets some money too, and this is why CVS and Target didn't want to do it because they
Now,
don't
is
want
that
to pay.
on top of the merchant fee that they have
Yeah.
to pay for the card, or is that built into Apple Pay for the merchants?
I don't know.
I mean, there's got to
That
be a
we don't.
trade-off there somewhere.
But well, I mean, the trade-off is convenience for the user. That's the trade-off. So
Let's
Apple
move
should
on.
become the 51st state, says Frank.
it's probably true.
All right. We're gonna move on to our next topic. Climate change means more iPhones. Why? Well, according to a story in techspot.com, a nonprofit environmental disclosure organization called CDP, many companies worried about climate change have sent reports suggesting how it might affect them. Disney is worried that rising temperatures might hurt their ticket sales at their theme parks, and Intel and Coca-Cola are concerned about rising costs. Apple, on the other hand, believing that methods of early warning of climate-related disasters for their products could bring more people to buy iPhones or other future tech designed to help protect people, including health-related issues. Now, the report itself, there wasn't a whole lot of details in the article, and apparently most of the report that was sent to CDP has been kept private, which is probably why companies would send reports like this to them, assuming that they'll keep them private. Now, one of the things that Apple has really pushed on is health. As far as their iOS technology goes, they've rolled out, or they're getting ready to roll out, EKG, heart monitoring in Apple Watches, which is always attached to Apple. Apple is on your pulse. They're right there.
ECG and it's out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you believe this report, could Apple come out with other kinds of early warning as far as potential disasters and because let's face it, if you have an iPhone or some other device that's connected via a 3, 4, or potentially in the future 5G network, they know where you are. They know practically to the meter where you are on the planet by cross-referencing between transmission towers. So if there's a huge lightning storm or tornado warnings or a blizzard that's on the way toward where you are or where you are potentially heading, could Apple and or other companies partner up and bring an early warning system? What do you think, Dave? Let's start with Dave.
Yeah, I just how can there be an early warning system for this? Really, climate change is a tough subject for me. I just don't know how Apple would be able to do something for this. I can't give you really a good clear reason why climate change could increase the sales of an iPhone. I think if anything, what's going to happen with Apple is services. That's what's going to increase the sales of iPhones. What's climate change really going to help as far as iPhones go? I just again, I just don't see it.
Okay, what do you think, Warren?
If you take climate change out of it, having a computer in your pocket with GPS and having sensors strapped onto your wrist is a lot further in technology and advancement than what they had a long time ago. And when hurricanes and other things were coming, there was no way to alert you, and now there's a lot of ways to alert you, and there's a lot of ways to monitor what's going on. And it's certainly, it's not going to hurt. It's not great for the privacy people, but it's certain. That's what technology is trying to do. No way, any way you look at it, they're trying to figure out how many pieces of technology they could strap to your body at all times. You look at us now. We got the phones, we got the earphones, we got everything. We got VR headsets. It's going to get worse. It's going to be basically, how many things can attach to your body that will know exactly where you are, what you're doing, what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and what I could sell you or tell you as a company to do. And that's where it's going.
Okay, Leslie is asking, would you have to buy an iPhone with 5G, or will it update supply it? Considering that almost all smartphones already have location services built into them, or if you're using your smartphone as a GPS device in your car, you have to have location services on because, your phone needs to know where you are in order to show you road conditions and all the rest of that. And if you're using something like Waze, which also includes, real-time updates as far as traffic and where the police are and all the rest of that through crowdsourcing, then it's even more so along the lines of a service that is always going to know exactly where you are. Now,
if Leslie's
privacy, I don't think privacy concerns even fall into this. If you're using a smartphone and you want to use these types of apps, well, then the device and the company that is supplying the service and or the device need to know where you are. And they will know where you are. So it's a question of, I'm sure that these are some of the kinds of things where it's like, no, I don't want to know that there's an earthquake 5 miles ahead of me, or that a meteor is, falling from space and is going to hit the city that I live in, or what have you. But why would you turn something like that off? If you're already using the device for those kinds of purposes, for location services, why would you turn off something like that?
It's here now. It's not 5G. It was here
exactly
10 years. It's
5G.
I mean, it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
5G has nothing to do with it. GPS is, and then 4 years ago they could have came out with an app, and it probably does say emergency service app. You tell it your location, and it's probably out there. You tell your location, and it'll tell you if something bad's about to happen to you. So
yeah.
I'm sure
well, are you guys interested at all in some of the health services that watches and phones are now kind of bringing to the forefront?
Does it look like I'm interested?
Yeah.
Well, you're the one always going to McDonald's, Warren. So that tells me. I have nothing to say because
any of us are interested in this. Come on.
I went bowling yesterday. Okay, that was like my significant exercise for that day. And before I walked into the bowling alley, I got a
beer,
beef burrito supreme, and a double-decker taco at Taco Bell.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Yes, and they were good. They were good, damn you all.
Now you can pay for the tacos with your Apple Pay. So
yeah,
there you go.
Taco Bell.
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't really know how well drive-through works with that.
Works perfect.
They really need to have some kind of easy to
sensor.
use terminal that's outside so that they don't have to start hitting buttons on their register and then pick up this massive thing and hold it outside for you.
Starbucks and Chick-fil-A does it. So they both take Apple Pay. And if you're at the drive-through, they have a little device, little robot arm that comes out, and you just tap. It's like E.T. giving my Chick-fil-A, giving my chicken.
You got your watch. You can just do the watch.
Yeah, you got the watch.
Well, yeah, but you still have to have. There still needs to be some. We're jumping back to the last story.
Yeah, why did we go back to that?
I don't know.
You are
I don't
bad.
know. Damon asks or says that the bigger issue to location tracking is facial recognition and state government abuse. Well, depending on where you live, state government abuse is already there. So, pick your poison.
Everybody's worried about the Minority Reports movie situation where Tom Cruise is walking to a mall and everything is saying, hi, Guy Serle, I see you are wearing a hat. Do you want to buy this hat?
I do.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I do too.
Hats
that's
are
what we're
great,
worried about.
especially if you're
Yes.
bald. Not that I'm bald. All right. We're gonna move on to the
Let's
next
move
story.
on.
We're
Let's see
moving
it.
on to the next story.
Singer comes in.
Thinness is blinding. Blinding, I say. This is a story from 9 to 5 Mac, and if I was really on top of things, I would have already done that. Uneven backlighting at the bottom of MacBook Pro laptops should be an easy fix, but it is a serious cause for concern, according to iFixit. A simple $6 cable could repair the problem, but Apple's legendary obsession with thinness means the cable can't be replaced and is an integral part of the display itself. So if it fails, the entire display must be replaced. So this is the and this is a case where I guess Apple chose to use a thinner cable than one they've used before, and it is failing for some people. Let's start with Warren. What do you think about that?
Oh, what do I think?
Mr. Buy a new computer at the drop of a hat.
Well, that's I don't have to worry about it because of that. So there's,
and I'm not Serle, Marcus. Damn you!
All right, so I have thoughts about this. So iFixit did a story about this, and then Louis Rossman posted a video about this, and we'll talk about Louis first because I think we need to talk about him. The problem I have with him is his videos always have the same feeling of Apple is making things worse to fix. Nobody's listening to me. Why won't anybody listen to me? Listen to me. Apple is getting worse in their hardware, and it's getting old. That's his thing. It's getting old. I mean, okay, we're listening to you. Thank you. iFixit, their situation is basically they are in the business of repairing or having people selling parts to repair their stuff. They're like, hey, this little cable should have been easy. I could sell you a kit to fix it, but we can't sell it to you now. So they're upset. My feeling is if it is a problem and it is hard to fix, yeah, we should know about it. It should be an issue. I haven't heard too many people having this problem. So, it's hard to know what's blown up out of proportion and what's not.
Sure.
It's Apple's good with, they're good with the standing by things. And a lot of people are saying that they're not, but the publicity does make it so if this happens, I think they'll come up with a repair extension like they always do. And, what it comes down to is it's Apple. If it's anything else, any other computer, any other tablet, any other phone, that crap breaks all the time and there's nobody talking about it. And, it's parts. Parts are parts, and the computers aren't perfect. We're just hearing about it because people like to say Apple is doomed and Apple's not doing things right. Exactly. People are very upset that the things are getting thinner and thinner. For some reason, people don't like thin as much as they could. So they're going to try to, sway people's opinions of it, and that's what they're doing.
Well, I look at this. I agree with you that people are generally, the people that do work on their own stuff are generally not happy with the direction that Apple is going in because Apple is making more and more of their stuff not so much unfixable, but not unobtainable, unable to get into the guts of it. However, this is an industry thing. This is something that's been going on for the last 5 to 10 years. You don't see, for the most part, there's a reason why laptops are outselling desktops now, because people like the portability of having a laptop, of having all of their stuff in a single device that they can take from room to room or take to the beach or whatever. Nobody wants to lug around a big ass gaming desktop machine from, where it is that they live to their beach house or what have you. So when you look at the trend of people buying devices that are unrepairable, because that's what most of the people that are buying computers are currently buying, then why is it always Apple? Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the ribbon and the replayability. I mean, just like anything, Apple's recognized an issue and they'll put a repair program in place if needed. I mean, I think I read there was a petition of like 2,200 people have signed with signatures. So I mean, how do we know these are people that they're just signing something just to say, hey, Apple, this is a problem and fix it? I mean, like Warren said, it's isolated. I mean, I can go back to I'm on my 2017 MacBook Pro and I get a popping sound all the time on the ribbon. I've searched high and dry with that problem, and I haven't questioned it. I mean, I probably should. I spent a lot of money on this laptop, so I mean, it's the same thing with the parts. The parts are getting thinner and thinner, and they have to adapt to it. And as far as getting this fixed, I mean, if it is an issue, but again, like I think you said, they're all bashing. They're bashing Apple. They want to sit here and say, yeah, this is Apple. They're doing this. And you know, it's just like any other company. I mean, I've cracked open and replaced ribbons and displays on tablets for Dell, and Dell's products are okay. I mean, but they have their issues too. I mean, it's just like any other manufacturer. So, now as far as it making it one assembly, I think that kind of stinks. Because with the Dell tablet I've taken part, the ribbon can come out and it can be separated. But in the case of the tablet, you want it to be one piece because it's so much easier to replace. It's just a screen with the cable. You know, it's just like unplugging a screen and plugging in a new one. So, yeah, I question that a little bit.
Yeah,
if Apple, just to say what you were saying.
Yeah,
and what you were saying, if Apple could sell a laptop that was literally just one piece of aluminum and a display, they would do that. Solid state is where they want to go. They got tired of people coming in with laptops that they opened up or like that have things falling out from inside of it, or whatever. The future, if you look at the future of machines, of devices, of gadgets, and you see the movies and everything like that, it's just one solid piece of a machine, one solid piece of a gadget. And that's what Apple is striving towards, and other companies start to follow. Again, if a laptop one day will be like that, where it's basically one part, and when it breaks, you trade it in for another one, because that's the past is the prehistoric way was, opening things up and fiddling with the things inside of it. They don't want that anymore.
And remember as well, as far as 2,200 people signing the petition on iFixit.com, who is the target audience for iFixit.com? It's people that like to open that stuff up. That, having the ability or having the desire to open a laptop or open a desktop machine and make changes and tinker with it is, it's not like it's that really much of a special skill. It's not that hard if the machine lends itself to that.
The petition will do something if people start having this problem with their cable and Apple's not going to fix it.
Well, no, they'll have to fix it. I mean, this is within a 2-year window, at the very least a 2-year window. Apple will have to address it, but I don't think Apple's concerned at all about 2,200 people at iFixit.com signing a petition saying they want more open stuff, because it's the people that want open stuff that's more likely to sign a petition like that. But the vast majority of people that buy Apple products, they're not going to give a crap about whether or not. The petition
doesn't want more, but the petition's saying that Apple should fix this problem, not do anything else. And there's a precedent, and the precedent was a keyboard issue with these same model MacBooks. And it was the same thing that it started out slow and a few people had the issue, and then a petition came out, and then Apple finally acknowledged it. So it's fine. I mean, if there's a problem and it's going to keep happening and Apple doesn't, if there's cases, according to them, there's cases of Apple not covering it under warranty to fix this issue. So if that's the case, then this gets Apple to listen, and that's fine. That's what happened with the keyboard. The keyboard issue I did have on 2 different models. I get the new MacBooks every year, and on my 2015 and 16, I had it. The keyboard issue was real. This one, we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Well, we've got one. Did you have anything else, Dave, before we move on?
No, we can move on. Go ahead.
Okay. The last story for tonight: the iPhone SE returns from the dead. But that was completely spontaneous, people. The vanished from history iPhone SE is making a comeback of sorts in Apple's clearance section. These are not refurbished units, but brand new in the box at $100 to $150 off their regular retail price. This is the second time these units have been made available, the first time vanishing in about a day. At the time of this recording, only the 32 gigabyte models were available, but in all the colors of gold, space gray, silver, and rose gold. So
they're sold out.
Are they already sold out? I just looked at it before we started to record.
As we were recording. I just went to this.
Really? I'm gonna hit the now. Is this link? Did I make this link live? Here we go. Let's go to the page.
I went to Apple's website. Every single color sold out.
No, that was like. I mean, we're talking like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I'm showing that the 32 gigabyte gold is still available. So, you know, if you guys better rush over and get one now. But that's the only one that I'm showing, and of course, we don't have any. What's a good word? There's no listing of how many they have that are available.
Well, I mean, the whole intent. I mean, this is my article that I put up. The whole intent of why I wanted to talk about the SE is there's still such a fan base of the SE out there. I mean, you could still buy refurbished ones, and I mean, there's another car article. I'm going to talk about it on the podcast, my podcast tomorrow. Is Walmart's now selling an iPhone 6 for $79? I mean, they're also selling the SE for $89, and it's.
And these are refurbished units. They must be refurbished.
Yes. Yeah, they're refurbished. So I mean, you got to go with the Straight Talk Wireless, which I wouldn't know if I would go with that carrier, but anyway, it's just.
I think Straight Talk piggybacks off AT&T.
Yeah, I mean they're all it's an MVNO, so I mean they're using all the same services, but anyway, I was just the only reason I wanted to bring it up was the fact that I think at first when it first was announced that these were available, I was like, really, why would Apple do that? I've never seen them just come back with an old product like this, and especially cut the price that dramatic. I mean, to go from $349 to $249, dropped $100 on the 32 gig. It's telling me that they want to get more and more iPhones in people's hands, and they're selling their services. I mean,
again,
and that's really what it is.
Yeah, Apple. The big money for Apple, besides the iPhones themselves, is services, and also the fact that once people buy iPhones, the next phone they buy is going to typically be another iPhone. I think we've talked about this in the past where Apple's retention rate is like 85 to 90%, which is astounding on the sheer face of it. And remember that the iPhone SE, while it has the same look as the 5 and the 5S, is essentially it's a 6 Plus. It's the guts of a 6 Plus inside a much smaller case. And there's a lot of people out there that don't want huge phones. My wife doesn't want a big phone. She's still on her 5 because she doesn't want a bigger phone. I could certainly afford to get her a new phone. She doesn't watch this show at all.
We knew that.
We know
she's got tiny girl hands.
I got her for her birthday last year. She was using my old iPad 3. Mostly just for, games or a quick look up or something along those lines. And I thought, there was a sale I found an iPad Air 2 for like a really great price at the time. And I went ahead and got it and gave it to her. And I was, patting myself on the back and the whole thing. And then she's like, well, there's nothing wrong with the one that I have. I said, well, it can't be updated. She said, I don't care. I'm just using it for this. It's like,
yeah. I went through this whole thing with my wife too, and finally got her to switch from a 7 to an 8 because she wanted to keep her old case. And then she came back from work and she's like, I can't tell the difference between this phone and the last phone I had. I'm like, I know, I told you that because it's very similar, but you want to keep your case. She's like, well, I don't understand why I paid money for it. I'm like, because it's newer, and if it breaks and you're on. Anyways, we returned it and she got the 10R and she's happier now. So
gotta be happy with it. But yeah, I mean, that's in essence. I was very surprised. Apple has not done that before in old phones.
I
At
have,
least
I have a
selling it
theory.
on their site
It would
directly.
not surprise me if we see a return of the iPhone SE, but with even more advanced. If they go to like the 7S, or even the 8 internals into a smaller case like that. Once the technology makes it possible to do so.
So my theory is after they built a spaceship in Cupertino, Frank the janitor was cleaning out the old offices and wherever they all came from.
Yeah.
And he opened up a closet, and there were like
They could have been in
100
Cupertino.
iPhone
And
SEs.
still
Yeah,
in
100,
Cupertino.
100, more like 100,000.
No, it's just 100. Yeah, that they didn't. And Frank called in and said, "Tim, what do we do with these?" And Tim's like, "I don't know. Put them on clearance." That's what happened.
Okay, well, that's all the stories that we have for tonight. So, gonna start with Dave. Dave, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can go on to Twitter at DaveG65. Doing my podcast at InTouchWithIOS.com. Just had Adam Christensen on my last episode.
I heard.
Take a listen. And Warren, I gave a shout out to Warren too. He was.
I heard.
I figured I'd throw it out there. And gonna have another episode for next week with Adam Angst. So I got some great guests coming on. Guy, you'll be pretty close here next after that. So.
Well, I hope so.
So come take a listen, and then my other venture is in the horse racing world, off the charts horseracing.com. Still having fun with that, and yeah, that's how you can reach me. Just go out to those places.
Okay, Warren, how can people? I mean, we want to know your email address. We want to know your regular address, your telephone number. We want to know all these things. So, how can people get a hold of you? Yeah, blood type.
My email address is vertshark
vertshark.com.
At vertshark. I actually don't have an email address associated with that yet.
Okay, then that's not my email.
Because that's an extra cost, and I don't know if I
join
even
my
want
group.
to bother.
Come join our group, the Mac to the Future group.
Great group.
Hang out, fight with us. We like to fight.
Have a good time.
Yeah, have a good time. So good.
It's been okay lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quiet. Okay, number one, if you would like to help support some of the things that I do, this podcast, Guys Daily Drive, which I haven't done in a while, or some of the various other things that I also have a YouTube channel, or I've put some stuff up in regards to using Loopback and Audio Hijack, both excellent programs, by the way. Please check them out, as well as the program that I use every single week here on the Mac to the Future live cast from Boink Software, which is called MIMO, M-I-M-O. And that's boinks.com, which is, and this is really great software. I don't know how much longer they're going to let me use it for free, though. But you can make a one-time payment if you don't want to do a regular thing. Go to coffee.com, ko-fi.com/MacParrot. If you'd like to become a regular, what's a good word? I'm losing words tonight. Supporter. Patreon. Yeah. Well, it's right there in the title. Damn it. Patreon.com/MacParrot. If you would like to get a hold of me, you can send me an email to guy@mymac.com. You can find me at on the Twitters at either MacParrot or VertShark. And of course, I do the MyMac.com podcast every single week with Mr. Gaz Maz, and we are coming up on not just having, like, in March, it'll be, I think, 9 years that Gaz and I have been doing the MyMac podcast. And later this year, I think in like October or November, will be the 500th MyMac podcast that Gaz and I have done together. Is show 785 will be the 500th one. So that's
Do the math.
that's pretty astounding. So come and check it out, because who knows how much longer Gaz will be willing to put up with my nonsense every week. These two guys can tell you it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. But I think that is going to do it for this evening. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who has joined us in the chat room. It is greatly appreciated. All of your comments are appreciated. Yes, Frank, VertShark. That it's vertshark.com, which is the website that I've started posting all of my stuff. I'm letting all of my other websites go away, and vertshark.com is going to be where it's at. VertShark. Oh, you're killing me. VertShark. He said, oh, so very carefully. So, as well as thanking everyone who has joined us tonight, I'd like to say thank you to Dave Ginsburg and Warren Sklar for taking the time to come here and just have some fun and talk about some stuff. So thanks to both of you. And that is going to do it. So say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Warren?
Warren.
Dave?
Good night, Warren. By the way, you won't see me after this.
Oh!